Good morning. Storm force coverage continues now at 11 a.m. We are getting battered by another nor'easter. Here's a live look at Sandwich. You can barely tell that's the ocean, but those waves are churning and the winds are whipping, the snow falling fast all morning. Really.
Let's head to the north now, where the snow has been continuing to fall. This is Bridgewater, a little farther inland, and you see it's really starting to pile up, that thick paste-like snow that's sticking to all of the signs there and the roadways. It's not going to be fun trying to dig out of that.
Oh no, and here in the city of Boston, that early morning rain quickly switched over to snow with some powerful winds as well. A blizzard warning up and down the coast this morning. And right now, there are more than 150,000 power outages across the state, and this is really just the beginning.
Yeah, we're hours away from this storm wrapping up. It's expected to add up to a foot, maybe a foot and a half of snow in some parts, so that could cause some serious problems.
In Boston, an MBTA bus getting stuck in the snow here. This was the scene on Columbus Avenue just a short time ago. A plow had to come by and clear the snow so it could get moving again. So really the message is, if you don't have to be out on the roads, stay inside.
Getting a little help from your friends there. Snow plows with a little bump to get you going. Pictures like this showing why it's so dangerous and why also we're seeing so many power outages in the area. This tree in Falmouth crossing the road and covering the streets. It's right near Berry Place, just in case you're in the Falmouth area. So you'd like to stay off the roads in general. But again, if you're in the Berry Place area in Falmouth, you're going to find this tree right across the road.
And we're already seeing some spinouts. This is on the Mass Pike. This tractor trailer jackknifed on the Pike westbound in Oxford, blocking all but one lane. You can see state police were on the scene working to clear that accident. We have Team 7 storm force coverage with live reports from across the state with a look at all of the current conditions. And of course, our team of meteorologists are tracking this nor'easter as well. We have the latest track and snow totals. Let's start with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Reiner.
Later on today. Ren.
Well, if we do get that 15 inches of snow, we're likely sliding into the second most amount of snow we've seen with a March snowstorm here in Boston. P-Town also managing a large number of power outages. Guys?
Ren, you're talking about those power outages, just looking about 158,000 people without power right now. We've been seeing those numbers fluctuate all morning, but a lot of people struggling right now.
Yeah, it's tough. South Shore all the way to the Cape could be in the jackpot zone. That includes Bridgewater. And, you know, we're going out to Brandon Gano. I was checking Mega Millions, $319 million. If you don't win that, don't worry, because you could win another jackpot today.
And you know what? I am at a rest stop, so technically I could go buy a lottery ticket in the next few minutes. Maybe I should do that. But kind of like what JR and Rem were talking about, it seems like we're in one of the times where it's died down just a little bit. At least the winds are not as bad right now that they were about 20, 30 minutes ago. But you can see the snow is still blowing sideways, and it's definitely still coming down. That wet, heavy snow that we've been seeing, if you look down, you can see it's be great for making snowballs and making snowmen, because with one hand you can almost make it into a nice snowball. But you can see here on Route 24 in Bridgewater, here's one of those plows going by, but it won't take more than a few minutes for the street that you can see after the plow for that just to be covered with the white stuff almost immediately after. But again, the winds have slowed down a little bit for now, so the visibility has improved here on Route 24. And guys, we don't normally see this many people driving on the roads like we are in the last few minutes. It's because a lot of them were stuck behind the plows. So we haven't seen too much traffic, which is a good thing. And I think right now you're just seeing so much because the plows have been coming through and a lot of those cars were behind the plows, like they should be. Don't crowd the plow and certainly don't pass the plow. But again, here in Bridgewater, this is what we're seeing, just constant accumulation because the snow keeps coming down. Maybe the winds aren't as strong as they were 20, 30 minutes ago, but I'm sure that'll change in the next 20 or 30 minutes. Guys, back to you.
Brandon, thank you. And speaking of those plows, MassDOT saying that they'll have 4,200 pieces of equipment out on the roads, including those plows, to kind of clean up there.
But admitting that even with 4,200 pieces of equipment, when you're getting 3 inches an hour, no way to keep up with it. We do want to update you on the power outages. This is a power outage map that you can see here. Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency has sent this out. More than 155,000 customers, again, without power. Some of the hardest hit areas, if you're in Plimpton, you know where we're talking about. 82% of people in Plimpton in the dark. Norwell is at 70%. Pembroke, 57%.
Wow, and this is part of the reason for those outages. Check out this video from Pembroke. A tree crashing down over Route 139. It's just one of many in the area. Our 7 News snow tracker was there just a short time ago. You can see that road is shut down, and right now traffic is being rerouted from that area.
Yarmouth Police Department sent out this picture to 7 News. Trees down across parts of town. Officers reminding people, be safe when you're outside. They say they have several trees that are down, and they have crews working to keep the road safe. But you can see those trees not only down, but hitting those power lines as well, which are compounding the power outage problems.
And as we've been saying all morning, communities along the Cape will be digging out.
Yeah, Sandwich is not only dealing with the snow, but also very heavy coastal winds. 7's Byron Barnett is out there. He is live now with the latest. Those waves just look wicked there behind you, Byron.
Yes, they really are. They are. Wicked is a good word for them. Very nasty out here. They are even stronger, huger, bigger rather, at high tide. Now we're past high tide, and you see they're still big. But that's not the main concern here. The main concern is this relentless wind that's just been, pounding right through the town here, and the combination of the wind and all of this heavy, wet, sloppy snow, Gorilla Glue-like snow. That's causing limbs to come down, and it's causing major power outages. Now we're up to 72% of the people in Sandwich without power now. This is all because of trees down on power lines, various places around towns. I'm told there are reports of trees blocking roads on several roads here in Sandwich, but 72% of the people without power, that's around 7,800 people. And that's not just here in Sandwich, there are a lot of other people along the Cape in the same situation. Wellfleet, 50% of the people without power. Falmouth, 50% of the people without power. That's just again, the wind and all this heavy, wet snow is just really doing a job on the tree limbs and the power lines here. Bad news is for some of the people without power, it might be a while before they get it back because the Eversource folks aren't able to climb up on the poles and, fix all these power lines with this strong, heavy winds. So I'm sure some of the people who lost their power were the same people who lost their power in the past couple of storms that we had. I really feel bad for those people, but what can you do? This is Mother Nature. As for the roads themselves, they're pretty sloppy, slushy, driving in some cases near whiteout conditions. So we went around a little bit. Fortunately, most people are staying off the roads. There's really not a lot of activity on the roads here. Not much is open, not much to do, so the best thing you can do is just to stay in your homes. There are a number of shelters that are ready to go, but none have opened as of yet. That's the latest live here in Sandwich. I'm Byron Barnett, 7 News.
All right, Byron, thank you. From the Cape, we want to go live to Plymouth, where 7's Napoli Pozo is out there. I see you're turning away from the camera. The winds are obviously whipping. You said earlier that the snow is sticking. Is that still happening?
Yeah, Maka, the wind and the snow picking up, and when it hits your face, it is piercing. Let me go ahead and just set the scene for you here. You could see we have plows out and about, just trying to keep ahead of this storm. Like I said, in the last hour or two, we just saw the snow starting to stick. When we were out here this morning, beginning at 7 a.m., it was more of that wet snow that we were dealing with. And now it's drier and it's sticking to the roads, sticking to the sidewalks and to other objects here in Plymouth. I spoke with a plow driver last night, and he was telling me that 20 inches, 15 to 20 inches, definitely going to be a challenge for drivers, but they were just going to be out all day trying to stay ahead of the storm. I want to talk power outages because here in Plymouth, we have more than 30,000 people without power right now. I actually spoke with a worker from Eversource who told me these conditions are just far too dangerous for workers to be out trying to fix those power lines, trying to restore power for folks here in this area. He also described just this being the third storm for workers and says that he has not been home in 11 days.
I have never seen anything like this. So I hope everybody understands that this is maybe once in a lifetime, week and a half that we're going through. As you can see, as I'm getting blown over. You joke and you laugh and you make the most of it, and if you can't laugh, you'll go crazy. So we just try to smile and grin and bear it and know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, hopefully. And
Yeah, and Mark there just has a great attitude about all of this. He says that folks have actually been really kind to him, bringing him coffee while he's out and about trying to restore power and food. Back live here in Plymouth, you can just see the wind over the roads here. I mean, that's just how powerful this wind is, and the snow coming down. Again, 15 to 20 inches expected here in Plymouth. The good news is we haven't seen too many people out and about. Officials asking folks to stay off of the road. And, you know, usually in this area, I've been live here before during storms, we see people come and just kind of, you know, scope out the ocean, take pictures, things like that. And we haven't seen too much of that here today. But it's the very latest here in Plymouth. Nathalie Pozo, 7 News Today in New England.
And after all that, she's still smiling.
Yeah,
So,
and that Eversource employee is still
yeah.
smiling.
You know what? It's Mother Nature. We choose to live here in New England. It's beautiful 3 seasons out of the year. You just deal with it. Still ahead, we're continuing to track the severe weather for you this morning.
This is a live look over Situated. You can see that snow is coming down and it's really shifting those power lines. Definitely power outages have been an issue all morning long. Stay with the news station as we continue to track conditions all over the state.